At 6 o'clock almost on the dot, as the train slowed to take the curve just outside the Frankfort Junction, Pennsylvania, station, Public Relations Executive Hubert Holloway looked at his watch and decided he should eat something. Dining service would be shutting down soon. He strode out of his first-class coach on the Congressional Limited, which was headed from Washington, D.C., to New York City. He was enjoying the trip and looking forward to the business meetings he had planned in New York. A few minutes later he was waiting to be seated in the dining car when a peculiar crunch made everyone look up. A Marine captain, S.G. Kitch, turned to peer out the window when something heavy slammed into his shoulder and head. It was the ceiling. He reeled away, but there was nowhere to fall. Everything, people, tables, and food, were hurled into the aisles, he recalled later. Suddenly a tiny child went sliding by on the floor. We tried to grab it but missed. It was Labor Day, 1943, in the midst of World War II, and one of the worst passenger rail tragedies in the U.S. history had begun, one even more horrifying than the terrible derailment Monday in Washington state. Up ahead of where the Congressional Limited's diners sat, the train's seventh car had shot up into the air, as if doing a wheelie. The 52-ton car now crashed down on its side. It rolled over and over, down the rail embankment and then along a steep grade in the road, until it smashed into the base of the Frankfort Junction signal tower. The tower's steel girders shivered and, with a mighty screech, bent in two. The incisors tore through the car's roof like a giant can opener, decapitating nearly a score of passengers with a single slice and spewing their bodies across the right-of-way. The next car followed the first one down the rail embankment, also on its side, metal screaming, the car turning over and spinning until it crashed into the first derailed car, colliding with such force that it fused them into a Frankenstein's train set. The two cars had launched themselves with such fury that they pulled another 6 cars off the tracks before the coupling broke, splaying the cars like matchsticks across the 4 tracks of the Pennsylvania's main line, completely blocking it to all traffic. Screaming echoed down the line. Live wires from the smashed signal tower had set the first derailed car on fire, which the initial wave of rescuers men from the town who heard the crash rushed to put out. Most of the women in the car became hysterical, a passenger told reporters after being pulled unharmed through a window. But the servicemen climbed around among the seats and quieted them. One woman was terribly hysterical. A sailor slapped her in the face finally, saying, "Close your damn mouth before everybody here becomes hysterical." That quieted her down. The hysterics were understandable. Even some of the servicemen on board who'd been in combat had never seen carnage like this. Navy seaman George Davis, on his way home to Verona, New York, had heaved the young woman next to him to the floor as their car started to fall over, in an effort to keep her from being cut by glass. Then he crawled through the rubble, ducking under a dislodged, razor-sharp window frame and around someone's heaving chest.